what came in the mail today. Ta-da! Brand new speed stacks. Pro Series 2X. 2X are the standard in terms of comp cups. So every single comp you'll have to use these, I think. And I don't know if they're the best. I really wanted Pro Series 2s for fucking years. Because I remember seeing them for the very first time in person. It's like, these are sick. But these are expensive. I don't know why these were the most expensive. Because it also has a Pro Series 2 thing. I have a Pro Series 1. I'm gonna get rid of this learn to stack thing. This is kind of annoying. But it also comes with a little thing on the bottom, which takes so long to undo. And it says, it's a cup keeper. Warning, fast stacking is not possible without of round cups. To keep your cups competition ready, always keep them with your cup keeper clipped onto the bottom cup. It keeps them round. But what makes them Pro Series 2 is that it's completely empty at the top. It's the lightest cups. I've always wanted these white ones. And I think I got my PB with them today. Light of the cups, light of the stack. They're easy. I just don't like how the only logo's at the top. I don't really like that. I like the OG design ones. And also, what's even more annoying, which I can't do, is that these are a little bit bigger than the other cups. So then the other cups on them, they get stuck. So I'm like, what? People who like mix and match. I like mixing and matching. I couldn't do it. Does that even pop? I don't think so. I think I like the other keep cup type thingy, because the other one like was a thing for the OG ones. The thing is, what else can you do? Like, this is like having the holes at the top are cool, but then what else can you do? You know? Hi, money. Yes, guest. I kind of want to get more of the Pro Series 2X. But the thing is that it was so expensive, bro. Genuinely. Like $80 in total. Insane. I wish you can opt out of this bullshit. Move to stack thing. Like, everyone knows how to fucking stack. They keep buys them, bro. I want to find the OG DVD that came out of the set that we got 20 years ago. Took it off. Took it off. Fuck yeah. It's such a niche hobby, you know? Like, you just tend to, like, I always knew I had them, but like, if I don't have them set them up, I don't think about doing them. Like, the last time I did them was 2023. And that's when I bought cups. Those blue ones and the red ones. And that blue set's still my favorite. If I get a purple, that will be my favorite as well. Because I like the dark colored ones. Because they don't hurt your eyes. Those bright red ones, oh, they hurt my eyes so much. I also wish they did official black ones still. I have to look around on fucking eBay to try to find something. And, yeah. The reason why I want to get a standard set of black ones is because of the fact that the Pro Series is like rubber, and I don't like that. And I'm so happy my mom actually bought me that set at the comp in 2014. Like, I'm happy that she did. It's just that I kind of wish I got to choose which set I was allowed to get, because I probably would have looked at the Pro Series and see that would look cool in that, but I wanted to feel them. Like with the cube, you're allowed to feel the cubes before you buy a comps. And like if my age me, if I was at that comp 12 years ago, I would have actually bought as many sets as I could get, genuinely, because like they're in person, $20, $30 a pop. Fuck yeah, I'll easily spend $200 on a shit ton of sets, like easily. And that's when we got the Gen 3 mat. Speed Stack Singapore, bro. That's hilarious. I didn't like the Gen 4 timer. Gen 3 was cool, but like, my one barely worked. Like, it works now, but like, if I tap it in a solve, it just undoes itself. Why the fuck is Legacy of the Dark Knight over $100? Why is the cracked Gibson $250? Invincible Versus is getting a disc, which I like. It comes out 30th of April. Everything, the average game being over $100 nowadays, I fucking hate. Like, yeah, yes, that's just, it's like a quarter of the average paycheck, but still, like, spending $100 for one video game. Imagine telling young me that this is gonna be the norm. I'm gonna see what's on. Cobra Kai has um Cobra Kai has DVDs in Australia. Fucking why wouldn't Strange Things be? Thing is, I like official releases. Yeah, like I don't like buying bootleg copies of movies or TV shows. Music is fine because like it's music, it's just audio. But with DVDs and the video quality is where you need it at. And DVDs can be at a good higher quality. It's just people aren't. They legit people aren't fucking caring enough about physical media because the companies see like we can have DVDs and Blu-rays, then Ultra 4Ks, and make the Ultra 4K the most expensive, even though you can have the quality of Blu-ray on DVD, but no one bats an eye that it's just twice as expensive. Like, the best fucking Ultra 4K DVDs have the Blu-ray copy, because the thing with Blu-ray is that not only is it a higher quality DVD, but also has all the special features the creators wish to put on it. Like, the Spider-Man ones are probably the most in detail of any fucking Blu-ray thing I've ever owned. Because it just has so many, like, whilst the movie can be 2 hours, fucking there's like 30 hours of behind the scenes shit on each of the fucking films. Money. The fact speed stacks is such a big thing in Asia, but not over here, so we don't get a lot of fucking, not just comps, but we don't get a lot of sets to buy. Like it's everything's online, which is kind of bullshit. I don't like that everything's just online. I really don't like that everything's online, but what can you do? Like, if I see speed stacks in person, no matter where, I'll be like, oh, fuck it, I'm getting it. It's like seeing fucking Games World sells GAN Rubik's Cubes. What the fuck? The best type of cube you can buy is that just a legit a game store? Fuck yeah. If I were to get more cups, it'd be like the competition cups, because you know that's like cool. Yeah, I don't know if you can see, but here, this white topper, snap thing, keep cup, the white one, make it as low as I can. It's big, but then the one next to it, this blue one is tiny. Yeah, that's the thing. Shorties has more. Why does I don't understand, but it does. They're probably the newest edition. legit in 10 years, will Five Nights at Freddy's be dead? No. But Speed Stacks got most guaranteed will. Because 10 years ago, people didn't even know about it. So my mate Flynn, I legit, I walked past, actually not, in 2014, me and my group of friends, or some of my friends, just was walking inside the buildings. Like building 2 or whatever. And I just walked past this room, and it's because some rooms you're allowed in the buildings at recess and lunch, and sometimes you don't. Like, on the one day a week it happens at lunch or whatever, I walked past this room, and the teacher, and there was a bunch of kids, not that a lot, maybe like 4 or 5 different kids. And they didn't have maths. The thing is, with that, the teaching sets, they didn't have a lot of maths. So I walked past them, and they were doing speed stacks, and I was like, I don't know if my friends remember this, but I remember going, holy fucking shit, or something like that. Or no fucking way. Then I walked in, and I'm like, you have fucking speed stacks or something? Like something like that. And I was just, the rest of that lunch, I don't know if my friend stayed or not, because Flynn was with me. The thing funny with Flynn is that he got a set of speed stacks. He got that blue set that I bought now. He got that set years ago. So I basically played with his speed stacks that he bought. And then not even a couple years later, he got into cubing because I got into cubing. So he was just talking to Coben about like doing sexy move and all that. But yeah, I remember going in, and like it's like, no way, fucking speed stacks. Like it like unlocked a memory of mine, because at that point the last time I did speed stacks was probably like a couple years before. I don't know if it was already on my YouTube channel or not. But it was like such a niche thing. Then I walked in, or saw it, was like, no way. So I rushed in, and like I immediately did it. And then the teacher, she was like, why are you good at this? Or like, how do you know this? And like, it was the first time in like a schooling environment. This was before people realized I played guitar. Where like this is a weird thing that no one knew I could do, because legit, I have a vivid memory watching that DVD, because it was a fun DVD. I remember it was like they were learning how to speed stack. People like saying sports stacking and cup stacking. Like, no, it's speed stacks. I'll forever call it speed stacks. It's like fucking calling like, I don't know. Cup stacking or sports stacking is a dumb name, but speed stacks. They were in this weird, 2 of them are learning, well, one was a part of, Emily Fox's team, I forget her name. We have the DVD somewhere, I don't know where it is. But they had the same color cup, which was kind of annoying, and in the background there was a shit ton of cups on the wall. So young me was like, I want one of these, because at that point I was either using Coben's to learn, or a couple years later or that year we all got a set. Coben got the flames, I got the racing one, my cousin got the camo one, and my other cousin got the zippy leopard one. To the life of me, I don't know where the camo one went, but I got the leopard ones from my cousin, thankfully. And ironically, it's my favourite standard pair, even though it's misprinted as fuck. And in that, for some reason, there was in a skate park. I remember watching that video constantly, and because I didn't have a mat for the longest time, so I remember downstairs, I brought a chair into that bedroom downstairs. They had a massive TV, and they have this, like a standard, like fucking, like like a dressing drawer type thing, a drawer. So on top of it, the TV's there. So I used the front of the TV to use that as my thing, and I watched those videos so many times. And back then, like, I don't know if I was considered good in my own standards now, because a good for me is like 12, 11 seconds, but back then maybe I could do it in 20 or something. I don't know. I really don't remember. But it was like this weird co-curricular activity that never returned. Like after that comp, I don't think we ever like, it was weird because there was a comp and it was like barely a month after I got back into it, because I remember borrowing a set from her. I think it was a purple set, a blue set, or a red set, or whatever. Because like, I don't know, it was like, there's a photo of young me wearing a black t-shirt with bright blue pants in front of a massive jumbo stack. Like, it's very, very niche hobby. And it was like one of the very first times, like, it was just out of nowhere, like, it's a very, very cool thing. Yeah, this is it. Right along with you. It's hilarious looking back. She's not the best, you know? She's fucking slower than me. Oh, they did. This is the V1 map. I don't know if you can tell. In the back, there is the sets. Fuck it. Let me watch this video on the stream just right now. Like, this brings back so much fucking memories. Like, if it wasn't for this DVD, I think Coben watched it once. I've watched it like at least 5 times. So Jenny Vieira is her name. want to fucking watch this video and I want to find out where this person is right now, because like it used to be such a weird, like I don't even want to call it a niche, because it's something like, if you were a teenager in the fucking like the noughties, as the kids would say, you knew about it. You know what I mean? Like, you knew about it. Like, everyone in America would have known about it, and it would have been like, it's like, oh, this weird niche thing that everyone knows. But in Australia, it never really was like that. So when I found out about that at school, of course I jumped the gun to it. If there was a cubing thing, I would have fucking jumped the gun to it as well. I just have been binging Stranger Things fucking clips all day. You've been bored. Without any help.
The Rubik's Cube, an iconic toy that pretty much every kid comes across growing up, but only about 5% of the population can actually solve. But of that 5%, how many are able to do it completely unaided, without looking at any tutorials, guides, or instructions? Personally, I know none. So I set myself a challenge. I would not stop until I solved this iconic puzzle using just the power of my brain.
I don't understand how it's actually
the new
possible.
big arch with 2 layers of hot,
Genuinely,
juicy quarter
sure
pound
someone
beef
figured
and
it
that
out.
big arch.
Would it take 1 day? 2? My entire fucking life? That's what the goal is. That's what we're gonna find out. It's the unaided Rubik's Cube solve. So I'm just gonna focus on getting the white side. 6, 7. Oh my god. 8. I don't know how I'm doing. Did I just do a full side? Is it possible to get lucky and just finish this? Okay, so I have 8 out of 9 on the white, and then 3 top sides all done. Oh my god, wait! Oh no, I'm ruining everything. I'm ruining everything. I just ruined everything. I do think I can do this. This though doesn't seem that hard if I just have like 5 hours or something. I think this is good. Okay, I isolate that. Wait, I think I got it. I think I got it. Put this back. I move everything over. Oh my god.
You know what's weird is that I never intuitively solved the first layer. Now it makes sense how simple it is. You know, it's so easy, the first layer. Even the second layer. But the third layer is where, like, if you need to understand what an algorithm is to even properly comprehend how to solve the final layer. And if you're doing it without any help, figure out an algorithm without realizing what an algorithm is would take so long to do. So 1 full side done, and then the top of every other side matching. I need to maintain this while shifting over a different block. Maybe I can be okay messing up one. So if I wanted to fix what I just did, that's as simple as this. No. Simple as no. Also, him like rotating the entire cube to do a simple move. I want to get this one here. I did something. Now can we get back though? I think I can.
Oh, yes. Okay. Did I make any progress? Wait! Oh my god! Oh my god, what is happening? Wait, I just have to get lucky. I just have to get super lucky and always get back to white. It's to keep doing shit until I get lucky. I did something. My brain cannot figure out what I just did. But it felt right. It felt so right. Well, I think I've determined if I am going to complete this today, it is 100% going to be luck-based. I don't really know what I'm doing. This is a scenario I run into very often. So how do I get this up?
This is fascinating.
I need to twist it like that.
Well, I think he's trying to do solving a color, then solving a different color, instead of doing a layer by layer. Is that even possible? Could you really do that just based on that idea? Because sure, I know algorithms, but what if I try to solve it without thinking about an algorithm? That would be hard for every fucking cuber to do.
No, I think the easiest way to actually get here is not by flipping it over. It's just twisting it here. Oh my god, yeah. So I just move these two both down. And then just two aside. And then I just move up. Boop, boop, twist, twist, boop, 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 boop. I'm recognizing patterns. Oh no, but the middles are bad now. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Okay, so is that right? Yeah, so then I do this. Boo, do, 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 do. Okay, I could just do that. That was a crazy move I just did right there. How do I move it up? Or is this the wrong one?
The fact
is
that
there another?
it's taking them 5.5
this
hours
is
to
the
do
wrong
this is
one.
hilarious.
What am I doing? There's 3-sided ones and 2-sided. I'm going to get this before 7 hours. Alright, I can do this in 8 hours. I can't do it. I don't think we're gonna be able to brute force this. I don't think that's possible. I was kind of banking on getting lucky. I don't think we're gonna be able to do that. So we are going to be more methodical. We are going to actually use our brain. Figure out cube states. Understand cube mechanics. This is gonna take a lot longer than I thought. It could take a week, a month, a year. I don't know. But we're gonna complete this. I have a new system. I'm gonna use this to take notes. I'm gonna use this to save different cube states that I, frequently run into. The thing I learned last time, I don't know how it took me so long. Corner pieces are distinct from side pieces, which are distinct from middle pieces. So it's a lot fewer, potential cubes to look at. White, yellow, green, 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 red, blue here. Kind of looks a little psychotic, but this is our current cube state. So we just need to get this. We need to rotate this. I'm gonna name these A, B, so B1 rotation, A3 right rotation, right? That's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. C3, another right rotation. So this is exactly how to do that. We're learning. I will make progress. Just a matter of time. What the heck did I just do there? C3 right rotation, V2. Oh my god. And then flip the back. Oh, 9 white, 7 green, 8 red. Somehow I wasn't even focusing on that and that worked. I need a B1 rotation V2. This is a much better B1 rotation. 2 sides is gonna be a breakthrough. Dude, I don't know how to not mess up the other sides. There's so many moving pieces. I've just been spamming this C3 right rotation. Another C3 right rotation. Wait, this is actually really close. I don't even have to change the face of this. It just needs to move 1 over, and then that's 2 sides complete. But I'm thinking now, I've been so focused on getting 2 adjacent sides. I think that's kind of hard. Oh my god, I just messed everything up. I hate my life. The day started out so well. We need more patterns. So now we are doing X, Y, Z notations. I think maybe I've been thinking about it wrong. Not every move has to be a positive move. Even if it's a neutral move, as long as it's not negative. I have just another permutation and I can, live with that. That's fine. This is a neutral move. I messed up 1 white and I gained this. This should be another net neutral move. I think this could be a net neutral. I think it's completely fine. Wait, oh my god. I'm 1 block away from finishing the top 2 rows. Pretty sure this is an important pattern. I'm just trying to do a little flipsies over here. Wait, I already have this, no? Side block, rotate 1 face right. Is that not what this is? I think I just go for it, honestly. What the fuck did I just do? Okay, so now I'm back. I mean, this is promising. If I keep putting myself in these positions, eventually I will be able to figure it out. Oh, we failed the test again. First attempt of the day. Strat last time was to get two, instead of focusing on two sides, it was to focus on the first two rows, actually. I like doing that. I got really close. Oh my god, this is kind of crazy. Because it keeps everything in the same plane. Like, you can see our same plane. Same plane. I'm losing everything, but I have to do it. Oh no, this is not good. Where is... So then we could just go with this one. That's fine. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! I don't know how I did that. 2 full rows. What the fuck just happened? What is the most complete side? Or do I just focus on the... Oh, the bottom is so messed up, though. The bottom is so messed up. It's the hardest part, because I actually need to know what I'm doing now. Oh, man. I definitely messed up. Row 2, right 1. On 1 and 2, down 2. Row 2, left 1. And then I wrote. And then some bullshit. What did I mean by this? Man. I don't know about this one. But we are making progress. I just need to be more focused. I need to be better. I need to go to the next level. We're gonna get this today. I don't care how long it takes. We're just gonna get this done. All right, we're still continuing our strat of 2 layers. I run into this situation so much where everything else to stay the same, and I need to rotate 1 cube in. Okay, I'm getting kind of lost. Okay, I think that kind of worked a little. What if I just spam this? Oh my god. We're back. We've been here like 3 times, 4 times, maybe 4 times. All right, we're just doing random permutations of this. If I just keep
Why do you get a
doing
haircut?
this, something good has got to happen. I don't know what exactly is happening, but like something is moving, you know, while other things are staying the same, which is, I guess, kind of like the purpose of this, right? Just keep spamming. Keep spamming. Oh my god. I'm back. So we can make it back to 2 rows, just spamming that bullshit. But now I'm just figuring out how to move the top ones. This is like the last hurdle, basically. I just need to manipulate the top somehow.
Oh,
shit,
is it?
I got lucky. Holy shit, I got lucky.
I know exactly
legitimately
what
have
to do
3 left. Wait,
in
it's
that
3,
moment.
but all these are in the wrong spot, so... Ah, that looks like it's like done. Holy shit. Oh, I don't want to mess this up, because this actually took me a while. Wait, I swear I know how to do this. Don't I have this? C3 right rotation? Are you fucking kidding me? This was so bad. This is the worst algorithm ever. Dude, it's a never-ending loop. Yeah, this is not gonna work. I need to learn. I think, if my hypothesis is correct, this should put me where all the edge pieces on the top are right. Okay, the hypothesis was not correct. Alright, I'm messing up stuff for good. Whoa! Whatever I just did was good, but I don't know what I just did. Wait, what the heck? What did I just do?
Yes,
Wait,
you did.
this is really close, right? Because everything is in the right position. I only need to change the orientations. Oh no, we messed it up. Okay, 1 brain blast away. The neurons in my brain. Please make this connection. See the line. I don't see the line. I do not see the line. Holy shit, I think I may have cooked too hard. What just happened? What just happened? What happened yesterday? I was able to replicate the first 2 rows very consistently. And I think that's a big deal because I think if I give myself enough opportunities to kind of like mess with the top row, I don't know, something will click. I'm just putting myself in the right situation, right? I'm just keep putting myself in the right situation. Eventually, it'll click. I need to know exactly what's going everywhere. Because once I get to the top right, I need to know where everything's going. I cannot take like any risks. I think this is the key, right? Because this rotated. This is a side piece. So this is the way you flip the yellow up. Wait, oh my, I know how to manipulate the yellow, like at least the sides of the yellows. Like kind of in a very weird way, I know how to do it. Ugh, so close. Okay, how do I cycle the corners? Technically, I think my best bet here is to keep spamming the save move because I know I can protect this side. Corners, 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 corners. They're all... So I need to somehow get this over there, but then that's gonna mess that up. My algorithms suck. They absolutely suck. Okay, we are somehow back here. What do? We get this position like every twice an hour or something? How will we ever learn this? Well, I lucked into a decent situation again. It doesn't matter though. It's not enough. It's not enough. Like I have no algorithm to manipulate the top. Have I learned a lot? Yes. But like, have I moved past the position I was in? No. Please, braid. Please. Ugh, this is ugly. This is ugly now. Oh no, I just messed up everything. It broke my brain. It broke my brain. Basics of the war. I need to notate like what are all my possible options. I can rule out stuff, right? I feel like I was feeling so paralyzed, but this kind of helps me, you know, like kind of move forward. This 100% does something. I don't know what exactly it does. I don't know exactly what it does, but it's shifting stuff around without messing stuff up. Wait, this could be pretty good actually. I feel like these. Ah, that was really good. That was really good just now. Holy shit! Wait. If I just cycle this, will this not? So this corner is good now, and it flipped over. Do I just spam it again? It's basically protecting everything, and it's moving the corners somehow. I don't know exactly what it's doing, but it's cycling the corners somehow. This is tough, 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 tough. I mean, like, the more I'm thinking about this, I'm like, the more I should just go back keep moving the corners and get lucky. Okay, I got one. I finally got one. We finally got one corner. Now we just cycle these 3. I'm not sure whether this will work, like, for sure. It all depends on if the rotations... Let's just simulate this. All right. Well, that was a fun exercise, right? So I need to develop something new here. That's all I ask. We need a couple more opportunities. I'm gonna get close, I think. Ah, that looks so good. Please. Please. Oh, red, green. New challenger has approached. Oh my, fuck this. This is back where I was. Orange, blue. Will he be the one? No, he's not the one either. This is the same. I don't think this works, actually. This used to be the step. I was like, oh, I'm not worried about this. I don't need to solve this. But this is actually now, like, the biggest time sink. Because if I'm able to get back to that corner position enough times, right? There's a lot higher chance for me to get lucky there. So maybe, like, my move is just really optimizing this. Yeah, because this, like, doesn't feel great. I'm 80% sure this works. Yes, okay, we made it. We have another opportunity. Oh, this is a good side now. Wait, I win. Do I not win from this? I'm 100% I win from this. Wait, no, Wait, no, I lied. I think my best bet is to try to get to this position faster. If I get there faster, that just gives me more opportunities. Fuck, this is what I needed. But now the situation is just wrong. I lucked into the corners all lining up, and now I have this bullshit here. That's so annoying. Please, oh lord. What did I do last time? How did I mess this up last time? This has gotta be it. It did not work. It did not work. No, I failed again. The thing is, like, can I even do this? Like, I'm just not seeing the end. Is this possible? So, I was thinking yesterday night, again, I feel like this whole process has basically been, right, we're trying to get lucky in a way, but we're just getting us farther and, like, relying on luck less and less. Yeah, that's basically what I've been trying to do this whole time. Day 1, I was relying on luck, but with only the white face complete, there's no, like, what, 1 in, like, 300,000? I don't even know, probably more than that, right, to get lucky? But I think we're close enough where if we can just get the top yellow edges to line up, like if I get that 25 times today, I should be able to get lucky at least one of those times. Yeah, so the game plan today is nail down yellow edge movement. And then once I get that, I can just, and then pray to God. And obviously it doesn't feel good because, like, I don't completely know how to do the corner thing, but after yesterday, I thought about it, like, it was just not clicking. It was not conceptually, like, making any sense to me. So I think this is our best bet. All right, so yesterday night, I figured out a certified fresh algorithm, but I'm not 100% sure what it does. So I want to experiment here. So the bottom will always stay. Okay, so the left one flips.
Bro, imagine this being in a tournament. This man to figure out how to do it and the batters just die.
One flips and goes top. It stays and goes there. So this is gonna end up in the wrong thing. Yeah, okay, I knew that. So we're just solidifying what we learned yesterday. All right, so now we have another opportunity. So this is kind of what I was talking about. I'm just banking on getting lucky here. I put myself in this position. I should have, like, a pretty good chance. Oh my god. So we didn't get it, unfortunately. This is the position I will never know how to solve. I'm not even gonna try. I feel like I should just scramble all the way to the beginning. Basically, I need the corners to be, like, all mixed up, right? How do I mix up the corners? Is there an easier way than going all the way to the beginning? What? I actually just want to try, like, does this do anything different? Oh.
Did he just do sexy move?
Okay, well, I got a different corner at least. What if I alternate this, though? I don't think this does anything different. Well, I'm just being hopeful. Let's try one more time.
He's gonna get a PLL skip. Genuinely, he's going to get a PLL skip for his finals. He got a PLL skip! No fucking way.
Wait.
He got a fucking PLL skip. That's sick.
Oh my god.
He got a PLL skip.
Wait.
He probably doesn't even know what that fucking means, but he got one.
I fucking did it. Wait, I did it. Wait, I fucking did it.
In Sol, the PLL skips are probably the best ones you can get. There are some people that can do an OLL and a PLL skip just purely because they have look at it.
43 hours.
That's fucking sick, bro. Genuinely. Now he needs to do it. 2 by 2 you'll be able to figure out easily. $13.33.
In this. Well, I lucked into a decent situation again. It doesn't matter though. It's not enough.
The fact he got a PLL skip is actually insane. And he needs to understand how lucky that is to get a PLL skip.
The Rubik's Cube. I don't think this does anything different. Well, I'm just being hopeful. Let's try one more time. Oh my god.
It was a PLL skip. I want to see how many views this video has. Four point 3.4 million. It's pretty insane.
On February 16th, the Rubik's Cube World Record 616-day drought finally ended when Yihang Wang broke it with a 3.08, perhaps both the greatest and most tragic Rubik's Cube solve of all time. But apparently, it opened the floodgates for something nobody ever thought this world would see. Because though we just experienced 2 full years without a world record solve, just 56 days later, 8-year-old Xuan Yigang pulled off the impossible. Beating Yihang's record by 0.03 of a second, he became the youngest world record holder ever. The difference between this solve and breaking the single most daunting barrier in cubing history is this tiny pause right here. It was already brought up when Yihang came extremely close to sub 3, but the sheer inevitability has now reached an unbelievable level. In speedcubing's 40-year history, we have never been this close to a barrier this many times without breaking it. The last 3 world records were all 0.15 within sub 3. At this point, the time it has taken to go from sub 4 to sub 3 is so absurdly long, it doesn't even make sense. In fact, if we look at the amount of time every world record barrier has taken to break, one thing becomes incredibly clear. In the early to late 2000s, full second barriers didn't mean much, with some world records even being broken on the same day. But all of that changed in 2011, when the insane dominance of Felix Zemdegs managed to reach sub 6 years before anyone thought it was ever possible. His world record was so ahead of its time, it triggered a 1,500-day drought until we finally saw the first sub 5. And when Yu Shangdu broke through the sub 4 barrier just 3 years later, we knew we had another 2011 Felix situation on our hands. But what we didn't know was just how absurd it would get, because it has now taken 2,332 days for the sub 3 barrier to be broken. And the best part, it hasn't even been broken yet. For some reason, a sub 3 second Rubik's Cube solve seems to be the breaking point. Does this mean that we're close to the human limit? Or is it just that the era we're currently in is the single strangest in cubing history? It's not that Xuan Yi is 8 years old, or that I personally tried to speak this world record out of existence, but that the battle of methods has reached the wildest peak we have ever seen. It made sense when Yihang broke the world record because he uses a method that's built for extremely fast single solves. But Xuan Yi learned 800 algorithms so that he could be more consistent, yet somehow, he just achieved the single biggest outlier metric in all of cubing. It's the first time a user of any method other than CFOP has ever gotten the world record, something that absolutely no one foresaw coming and really has me questioning reality. Especially when you start to ask yourself how Xuan Yi managed to break Yihang's world record while turning 30% slower than him. This solve actually starts exactly how Yihang's world record started, where Xuan Yi is going to be forming a free pair while solving the cross. Xuan Yi solves on both white and yellow cross, and he does go for yellow here. White is pretty decent on the scramble, but how he approaches the yellow solution is actually by starting with a wide L2. And what that does is it sets up so that yellow is on the top. And when you do this wide U2, it's going to bring it down to the bottom here. So that also sets up this green edge to go in one move. So that's effectively how the solution starts. So again, how he sets all of that up is simply by going with a wide L2 and then an F. And now he has this interesting situation where if he were to just bring down both of these cross edges and finish off the cross, like so, he'd have this pair with the blue-red. But Xuan Yi is obviously a lot smarter than that, and he is now the world record holder. So what he does is he actually brings up this cross edge, and then he does a U prime move. And that sets up these two to be a free pair in the front. Now he actually has a very interesting decision to make, because there are 2 ways to insert this pair. The first one is doing a U2, and then just inserting it into the back, like so. But the second one is actually the smarter option, because whenever you do a U move, and then insert this with a U2, it takes out this pair as well, and keeps it as a free pair. So when we do that, we also solve this pair. And that's what he does here, and it gives him a very, very clean continuation, where basically he has this free pair which he can also solve into the back, and at the same time, he saw all of the first 3 pairs in inspection, which means he knows that this is also going to be a free pair. So now he has that orange-blue into the back, and then he has a 3-mover into the front left, and the look ahead here for this final pair is very, very easy. I
Is
wouldn't
this the
actually be
same cube?
surprised if he predicted full F2L on this scramble. From here, Schwani would usually have to do a ZBLS algorithm, which would basically solve all of his white edges on the top and give him a ZBLL case. But in this particular instance, it's actually just going to be the standard solution that will give you that ZBLL case. And out of pure luck, he ends up getting one of the greatest ZBLL cases of all time. This case right here, which can be recognized by this block that's already solved for you, and then these two corners, which are actually opposite to this corner, and from there, Schwani knows out of all 800 cases, he takes a little bit of time to pause, that 0.2 second pause, to recognize that it's actually just the standard algorithm that will solve this OLL and give him
Is that the sound?
It's kind of annoying how a lot of records
Or the
just
arrival
have like
of the
skips
tasty
in it.
new Mega Brekkie McWrap for big
Because like
Brekkie hunger.
you can force a skip, sure, but that takes a lot of thinking to do, which you have to do in your head within 20 seconds in an
Need a
expected
prescription?
time.
A referral? Or advice?
But
I've got
I'm not at
Pepsi
that
covered.
level. I can't do look ahead
From
like that.
anywhere.
Oh, I just think about it as
Request
like,
a consultation
how
now at
fast can I do the cross?
updot.com.au.
Then think about the pairs.
basically a PLL skip, or in this case, it is the ZBLL. So sure, you could make the argument that the solve could have been sub 3, but these are also peak recognition speeds for literally anyone alive right now. So I'd say the 10.8 TPS on this solve was more than adequate for a 33 move solution. The wildest part of all of this might just be that I was wrong. In a claim that I thought was extremely safe and wouldn't ever be proven false, I made a video about the possibility of this exact situation happening at the beginning of the year. The fact of the matter that everyone agreed upon was that ZB is more consistent and will eventually become the clear better method, but CFOP will always be king when it comes to breaking the most prestigious record in all of Cuban. It appears that ZB is now not only more consistent, but somehow faster for single solves as well. And as if this hypothesis wasn't enough, Schwani went out and proved it by beating Yihang in both the final and the semifinal of this competition. Although Yihang held the world record for the shortest amount of time since Felix did this to break Mats Valk's heart back in 2016, he is the perfect example of the eerie trend we're starting to notice. Because we actually already saw all of this back in the summer of 2023. After waiting 6 years for Yu Shengdu's immortal 3.47 world record to be broken, Max Park finally took it down with a 3.13. Then just a month later, Luke Garrett became the second person to break 3.47. So it seems that when the world record is broken just once after a very long wait, the floodgates quickly open for many to come immediately after. We can even look at that exact situation back in 2023 to predict when the next sub 3.13 time will happen. And unfortunately, it's not looking good. You see, after Luke got 3.44, there was another 378-day drought before 3.47 was broken again. Sure, maybe that was because of just how ahead of its time this world record was, but maybe it's also telling us an underlying truth about how daunting sub 3 truly is. Maybe it's suggesting that we are nearing a human limit. So, you should subscribe to the channel, you know why? Because you get to see me falsely predict more world records. I said that the first ever sub 3 would be a 2.79 from Yihang. It's going to happen in 1 month. So yeah, I'll be here when that happens. And you want to see me get confronted by myself about that being a correct prediction, right? It's going to be a correct prediction. And you would also know that this entire video, matter of fact, was actually just to tell you that you are slower than a 6-year-old. Because that's what the video was about. An 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, it's the same thing. Anyway, yeah. Besides 3 months ago, when out of nowhere, 8-year-old Schwani Gung became the youngest Rubik's Cube world record holder.
There's going to be a D-move skip here. Is it there? 323! He's done it! Brendan Dunnigan is the world champion for clock!
This is the moment Brendan Dunnigan thought he was the Rubik's Clock world champion, because little did he know, that was about to change in the most controversial way possible. Not because of the unreal upset he was about to fall victim to, but because of an official decision that would turn the entire community against itself. On the final solve of the World Championship, out of nowhere, 16th in the world Anthony Stoyak stole the world title from Brendan by 0.02 of a second.
Imagine getting a world record,
To
but
get it
then
done,
like,
it
the
takes
person
a
next
little
to you
West
gets it
back.
faster. Legit, like that is very annoying.
Complete chaos broke out, and in the greatest moment of his career, Anthony had just done the impossible.
He is the world champion. He will be world champion for 2 more years.
Just one problem. That's not true. Anthony Stoyak wasn't the world champion, and neither was Brendan Dunnigan, because an official decision was just made 55 days after the World Championship that decided everyone was going to lose. On August 28th, to the community's absolute disbelief, third-place finisher Włodzimir Kapuścianski had become the new world champion. Anthony had been completely stripped of his title 2 months after winning it. But wait, if Anthony isn't world champion, it should at least be Brendan, right? The rankings say he's next in line. Well, it turns out both Brendan Dunnigan and world champion Anthony Stoyak were faced with the exact same disqualification for something they had zero control over. You see, on the second solve of the World Championship final, as Anthony's clock was being delivered to his station, it was moved a single tick off of its original state. That's the difference between a clock that looks like this and one that looks like this. In speed solving, this means virtually nothing. In fact, Anthony's puzzle had actually now been made one move harder to solve than everyone else's. You would think this would be
That is fucked. That is insanely fucked.
Disadvantage, but it was actually this very solve that would go on to win him the world championship. At least, that's what he thought, because the regulations did not agree. Section 1H clearly states that every single competitor must receive the exact same scramble.
How would they even
fairness.
know? Genuinely, how would they even know the scramble got messed up?
And this tiny shift that happened when the clock was set down on the table had made Anthony's scramble a millimeter different from everyone else's. 99% of the time, this problem has a simple fix. The solve with the misscramble would be removed, and the solver would get an extra attempt to make up for it. The problem is, Anthony was never given this extra attempt. Because the error wasn't found until 2 months after the World Championship, via footage Anthony had uploaded to YouTube himself, the Regulations Committee now had an unprecedented decision to make. They were left with just 2 choices. Allow the misscramble and don't punish the world champion for something they had no control over, or follow the regulations, which state that if a misscramble isn't immediately noticed, someone can find it 2 months later on your YouTube channel and delete your world championship. So with all of this laid out and the consequences fully understood, the WRC decided to remove Anthony's solve entirely, along with his world championship title. And there was nothing he could do about it. The community was having none of it. And
Oh, what the fuck?
decision to make. They were left.
Legitimately, I would just stop solving entirely. Be like, this is just a complete slap to your face. Genuinely. This is how depression just begins. Because like, really? Like, the thing that I always found bullshit to make it fair, that every single fucking scramble has to be the same. No. Like, to make it even more fair, every single scramble should be different. I believe that. So, like, that's fucked.
With just 2 choices. Allow the misscramble and don't punish the world champion for something they had no control over, or follow the regulations, which state that if a misscramble isn't immediately noticed, someone can find it 2 months later on your YouTube channel and delete your world championship. So with all of this laid out and the consequences fully understood, the WRC decided to remove Anthony's solve entirely, along with his world championship title. And there was nothing he could do about it. The community was having none of it, and they were very eager to let the committee know that. If this 92% disapproval rate said anything, it was going to be all-out war. And for good reason. Anthony had traveled 5,000 miles to pull off perhaps the greatest upset in cubing history, just to have it taken away because he decided to record his solves. This is an absolute joke. This is unfair. We are actively destroying cubing from your own mistakes. This decision is this situation is literally ridiculous. Anyone happy with this result? I mean, even Anthony's mom was on the front lines of this protest. It had gotten that bad. All of the outrage was over the fact that not only could Antony do nothing about the decision itself, but even when he attempted to check the scrambles directly after the final, he was apparently denied access to them. The WRC claimed the exact opposite. This, of course, meant that someone had to be lying. And slowly but surely, other competitors came forward saying they were also denied access to scrambles. Meaning if all these eyewitnesses were telling the truth, the WRC's statement was simply false. And even despite official delegates backing up all of these claims, his solve was still removed as a DNF, completely flipping the rankings. August 28th had somehow left us with a situation where not only does Antony lose, but nobody wins. Even Volodymyr Kapustyanski, the new world champion, said he's fully expecting it to be reverted. It doesn't feel like an actual world championship at all, because while the WRC is simply following the regulations, the community has made it clear that these regulations don't at all align with their goal of making competitions fair, and they never have. Perfectly exemplified just last year when an entire European Championship final had to be redone because every single solve was a misscramble. Literally all of them. Years worth of work and a perfect performance in the one moment that matters, all for your win to be cancelled because of something you had zero control over. The situation at this year's World Championship has highlighted a much bigger problem, the single biggest issue in all of competitive cubing. If this ruling is allowed to stand, it sets an alarming precedent that a competition is never truly over. Your results can always be taken away from you at any given moment, and there is nothing you can do about it. How long will it take for us to realize that the concept of a perfect rule doesn't exist? No matter how hard you try to craft a single statement that covers every possible outcome, it simply won't happen. So logically, looking at these situations on a case-to-case basis isn't favoritism, it's simply getting back to the original point of the rules themselves, to make things fair. And the only way to do that is to be open to change, something this decision seems very much so afraid to do. There's no question the WRC had good intentions, but that doesn't matter when the decision quite clearly does more harm than good. In 2024, we saw a huge investigation into a world record using a technique that was clearly illegal, and the rules were only changed in a way that allowed the illegal world record to stand, whilst also banning everyone from ever using the technique again. Whether these decisions are the WRC's or not, we're always left with the same conclusion. The rules are the rules, and there's nothing you can do to change them. You'd think that at some point, something has to give. But for now, the rules aren't changing, and Antony Stoyak is not the world champion, and the world will not stop talking about it until he is. So smash that subscribe button if you want Antony to be the right.
That is fucked.
This is Martin Telesforo, and he's about to get banned after just his third Rubik's Cube competition ever. On a Saturday in May of 2013, coming off of Mats Falk's historic 5.55 Rubik's Cube world record, making him the second person to ever solve a cube in under 6 seconds, the hunt for sub 5 was on. The most anticipated barrier in cubing history, and it was inevitable that one of the top 2 in the world was going to be the first to do it. But unbeknownst to anyone, that was all about to change at Perry Open 2013 in Mexico City, a competition that would forever live in infamy following the events of May 25th, 2013. Tell us.
Here's the thing.
I feel so bad for those kids.
When you move your company's WordPress site to a new host, you're probably bringing...
Telesforo had signed up for this competition, having not competed since the year before, where he finished with a 17-second PR, good enough for around, keep going, 20,000th in the world. Martin Telesforo was nowhere near being a world-class solver. I'm not just saying that. His second solve of round 1 was an 18, but it was his first solve at Perry Open 2013 that would change the Rubik's Cube world record forever. At least, Telesforo thought so. A 4.41. The sub-5 barrier had just been shattered by a 17-second solver in his third official competition. At first, it was pandemonium. No one could believe their eyes. The timer said 4:41, and for all anyone knew, this was 100% real. Even the delegate announced it as an official world record. The crowd gathered around the table, and the man himself looked just as stunned as everyone else. And as all great mysteries began, there was, of course, no footage of the solve. More and more people started to hear about Telesforo's 4:41, and it became abundantly clear that no one wanted to believe it. If it was true, this was a world record that would take at least 5 years for anyone to come close to. Was it even physically possible? Did a man who had never solved a cube in under 15 seconds before this just somehow break the most anticipated barrier in the world record's history? There's something you have to understand about this solve. A 17-second solver like Telesforo turns at an average of 3 to 4 turns per second. The sheer amount of luck needed for a 4.41 at this speed lands us at an 18-move solution. The average solution length from a top-level solver is 55. But 18 isn't impossible. The rule of God's number states that the cube can always be solved in 20 moves or less, no matter how scrambled it is, and there are currently 3 humans in the world who could feasibly do this, given about an hour or so to find an optimal solution. Just one problem. Martin Telesforo had 15 seconds to look at the cube before starting the timer. If a solution this perfect was even remotely possible, it would not come from someone like Telesforo. He couldn't have just gotten lucky. His solution had to be, at the very least, under God's number, beyond perfection itself. Telesforo would actually go on to show everyone at Perry Open 2013 exactly how he did it. How he had just pulled off the most stunning world record the Rubik's Cube had ever seen. His solution was 35 moves. And this is where things officially start to get odd. At first, the scramble he allegedly got doesn't seem lucky at all, but Telesforo's first 20 moves were perfect. With a little bit of luck along the way in the form of an OLL skip, his solutions seem feasible to be executed in 4.41. In a statement after the competition, Telesforo claimed, "It was confirmed that my solve was correctly executed and the scramble was correct." But as impressive as this perfect solution was, that wasn't even the strangest part, as Telesforo would then go on to mention that he made a mistake in the execution and decided to improvise some turns. Yes, the most perfect solve of all time had a mistake. This was both completely nonsensical and conveniently one of the only ways to explain the randomness of his first couple of moves. It was like magic. They follow no distinguishable solving method and are completely illogical, but also genius at the exact same time. Telesforo's world record solve can effectively be broken into 2 parts. The first 20 moves were done in an impossibly optimal way, at least on paper. When actually attempting to execute these moves in a speed solve, they are incredibly difficult to do quickly. 21-time world record holder Kevin Hayes tried to beat the 441 with the exact same scramble and solution from the world record, and after 100 tries, he barely managed to get a 4.34. The second part of the solve gave it an easily spammable and fast finish, but the fact that all 6 faces of the cube are turned during these first 20 moves of the solution made people extremely skeptical of Telesforo's ability to have actually pulled this off. And there were of course skeptics, but also eyewitnesses, people who claimed to have actually seen the solve happen in real time.
I never understood the idea of acting upon faking. I can understand wanting to become a world champion, but then actively faking to become it, that will never slide for me. You know? Faking playing music, faking fucking playing Guitar Hero. Like, because part of these hobbies is for yourself, and if you don't, if you just want to do it to show off, you're never gonna be truly happy with it.
And underwear. Exclusions apply.
After all, there had to be a judge to sign off on the legitimacy of the solve in the first place, right? Well, Ernesto Mendoza Dimas, a highly respected figure in the community, insisted he was 2 feet away from the man when it happened, sitting in this chair right here. But this video of the aftermath, which also shows the delegate, Ruiz, celebrating Telesforo's world record, quickly became the main catalyst for some extreme suspicion. It's here where we arrive at one of the only feasible ways he could have actually pulled this off. You see, Telesforo said he remembered scrambling for a 2x2 round, but only competed in 3x3 and had no involvement in the scrambling for it. That alone isn't nearly enough to prove anything. But then came a much more troubling detail. This video shows Telesforo posing with the timer, but just feet away was a scrambling table highly exposed to competitors without proper concealing of any sort. Maybe, just maybe, Telesforo had access to the computer-generated scrambles beforehand, allowing him to create an optimal solution that looked just real enough to be believable. But apparently, not believable enough. The community was in complete denial that this could have possibly happened. It had to be fake, or the result of a timer malfunction, displaying the time as a 4.41 when in reality it was much slower. 121-time world record holder Felix Zemdeg simply put it bluntly that having a world record holder whose second best time is 15 seconds would seriously undermine the credibility of the WCA. The community was divided. There were plenty of people who believed Telesforo's world record was simply a result of insane luck, but a 4.41 world record was daunting either way. It would take years for anyone to ever come close. Telesforo remained unwavering in his claim to the world record, and when confronted by the World Cube Association 6 days after the record, Telesforo confirmed his 35-move solution. This left the WCA in a difficult position because they didn't actually have any evidence to prove that the solve didn't happen, only shaky evidence that it did. Telesforo repeatedly argued that they were simply looking for a reason to invalidate his world record without actually considering the full story. It had been 13 days since the competition, and the WCA had to make a decision. All evidence pointed to the fact that Telesforo's solve was possible. Incredibly unlikely by all means, but possible. He continued to stand firm, and no one who competed at Paris Open 2013, not a single person, ever came forward about this world record being blatantly fake. But finally, on June 7th, 2013, an official decision was made about the incident at Paris Open 2013. After examining both Telesforo's miracle solution and the situation as a whole, the World Cube Association determined that his solve was simply too perfect. Either he had the scramble sequences before the round, or he used a software device during the round. Reinforcing the strangeness of his solution, it wasn't reminiscent of any solving method and lacked a logical flow. Telesforo's solution was so perfect that it made no sense at all. The WCA ended up disqualifying not only the 4.41, but every single result from the competition as a whole. Though there were multiple people at the competition who confirmed the world record and claimed to have seen it happen, the WCA still decided to disqualify the result. The Paris Open 2013 incident case ended with Telesforo receiving a 2-year ban due to dishonesty of the competitor and attempted exploitation of the WCA. Martin Telesforo seemingly disappeared from the community and has not competed since. He quickly became a legend in the South American cubing community, and the situation as a whole came to be known as El Feo, or the Ugly, a day that changed the history of the Rubik's Cube world record forever, and then was completely erased just days later. On the extremely slim chance Telesforo did somehow pull off this solve, and has been telling the truth the whole time, this might just be the craziest miracle in cubing history. And if the ruling was correct and he did fake the solve, imagine if his solution was just a little bit more believable. Getting lucky is not a crime. A perfect solution that was just a little too perfect. It would also be perfect. This is Keaton Ellis, and he just broke the most tragic world record in the Rubik's Cube's 42-year history. Going into this moment ranked just 26th in the world, no one expected Keaton to ever come close to pulling this off. But when he did, he somehow chose the worst possible moment to do it. You see, the Rubik's Cube world record is typically broken once every 468 days. But on November 21st, 2015, Keaton Ellis was the second person to break the record in just 30 minutes. Word was just beginning to spread that 11th in the world Colin Burns had set a new...
Get Macca's delivered for just 99 cents.
Like,
Only
you
on
can't
the
help
Macca's
but
app.
feel bad for these guys.
In business, problems are inevitable. It's how you solve
I
them that
imagine
sets
beating
you
a
apart.
record
So
without
no matter the size of your
realizing
business, chances are we've been there too.
someone else
stuck
beat
in
it
then.
before you and is
That's the
slightly
actual, as
faster.
world record when Keaton beat it by 1/10 of a second. And that's where things start to get strange. Because, weirdly enough, history doesn't seem to remember either of these 2 world records. If a moment this absurd had actually happened, 2 world records in a single day, surely the official rankings would remember at least one of them, right? Well, what these 2 didn't know was that both of their world records were about to be completely removed. Because there was a problem with all of this. When Colin broke the world record mere minutes before Keaton did, he didn't seem to care. Absolute pandemonium had broken out around him, but he was completely unfazed. If we rewind the video, almost immediately upon receiving the cube, Colin knew that something was off. Something that would lead to an 18-month ban for the competitor who allowed it to happen. In official attempts, cubes are supposed to be scrambled with a computer-generated sequence of moves that creates an even playing field for competitions. But Manhasset 2015 was not your average competition. It turned out a competitor had deliberately scrambled Colin's cube so that it was ridiculously easy to solve. So much so that even without finding the most efficient solution for the scramble, he still managed to break the world record by 0.04 of a second. The entire venue saw 5.21 on his timer and immediately broke out into chaos. But Colin knew that mathematically, it was impossible for a scramble this easy to appear in competition. It just couldn't have been real. So upon finding out just minutes later that the scramble was nothing close to what he should have received, the world record was completely removed from the official rankings. Many disagreed with this decision, saying that it was completely unfair. With some choice words for the World Cube Association, they cited the fact that the recent one-handed world record was also found to be a misscramble, but it was allowed to stay. The community would have a point here, but what they failed to realize was just how egregious Colin's misscramble truly was. The cube was basically halfway solved, with many even stating that Colin's 521 was a quite terrible time considering just how easy this scramble was. All of this had clearly been done on purpose. This level of tampering resulted in a complete removal of the world record and an 18-month ban for the competitor who scrambled the cube. But the rest of the world didn't know that. For all anyone knew, the Rubik's Cube world record had just been broken. And 4 hours south of where it happened, at a competition in Clarksville, Maryland, everyone was talking about it. The ultra-rare 1 in 400 days occurrence had finally taken place. So when 26th in the world Keaton Ellis received the scramble of his life just 30 minutes later, no one was prepared for what would happen next.
So, why was this guy's denied? I understand not seeing the scramble
Grab a Coca-Cola and enjoy the moment.
is the norm, but then again, you know what the cube looks like for those 5 solves, or the 4 subsequent solves. So I don't really understand. And like, is it a different scramble each level? I think it is, but...
Absolute chaos broke out, and understandably so. Keaton had just beaten the mere minutes-old world record by 1/10 of a second. It was the first time cubing had ever seen 2 world records by 2 different people in the same day. Considering how often the world record is broken, the statistical likelihood of this exact event happening on any given day was 1 in 438,000. But Colin's world record wasn't real. No matter how much we try to act like it was, it didn't actually count. And as we would learn just over an hour later, neither would Keaton's. You see, he had come within just 1/10 of a second of the most anticipated barrier in the Rubik's Cube's history. At first, this wasn't a problem. After all, a world record is a world record. When you get one, you don't tend to complain. But what Keaton didn't know was that this 1/10 of a second was just a little bit too much time. We had already seen people go to absurd lengths to achieve sub 5 in 2015. World number 1 Felix Zemdegs came just turns away from pulling it off in the World Championship final. And we had even seen a man try to fake a 4-second solve, which got him completely banned from competing. It was the one barrier that everyone wanted to break. And if Keaton had just turned a tiny bit faster, it could have happened that day. But wait, pause it. You see this guy right here? The man who was almost just killed by a flying elbow to the face? That's Lucas Etter, and he is about to absolutely ruin Keaton's day. Lucas had spent the last 4 years climbing all the way up to 2nd in the world, behind only the greatest Rubik's Cube solver of all time. Ranked number 1 in the US, he was known for his absurdly fast turning, sometimes even hitting up to 10 turns per second, which was absolutely unheard of at the time. But Lucas had a problem, and his problem was the exact reason he just watched his friend ranked 20 spots lower than him break the world record. You see, the single solve Rubik's Cube world record requires an absurd amount of luck to break. Even being top 3 in the world, the stars have to align perfectly for you to even have a chance. Every single world record after Keaton's would undoubtedly require a skip of some kind, something that's incredibly difficult to come by in an official competition. You have to pair perfect luck with a perfect execution. And as round 2 of River Hill Fall came to an end, Keaton Ellis was the Rubik's Cube world record holder. With all of what's just happened in the last 30 minutes, it was safe to say that the community was already in absolute shambles. But what they didn't know was that just 81 minutes later, things were somehow about to reach another level entirely. Lucas Etter was the final piece to the wildest day in Rubik's Cube history. A moment that was supposed to take 1,200 years to occur was about to become a reality. .90, the world's first sub 5, and the second actual world record in one day. The entire room was in sheer disbelief, and Keaton Ellis was one of the first people to see it happen. In a matter of seconds, Keaton had become the new world record holder for the shortest time to ever hold the world record, a title he will likely never lose. You gotta feel for the man. Soon enough, after learning exactly how his fate had been sealed, the entire world would hear about what had just happened, and they refused to believe it. Done at 8 turns per second with a PLL skip, Lucas had just broken the most anticipated barrier in cubing history. Within days, news media all over the country was talking about it. ESPN, articles, interviews. It was by far the most talked about world record in the cube's history. The most tragic part? Not only was Colin's world record removed hours earlier, but according to the regulations, because both of these historic solves happened on the same day, only one of them would ever count as an official world record.
Really?
4.9 seconds away from history. 3 world records.
That's
in one
depressing.
day. Since then, the shortest time for a world record to be broken is 56 entire days. The community has not come remotely close to replicating the day of November 21st, 2015.
Really?
You know what else you can't replicate? Subscribing.
Really? So an official solve isn't really counted as a world record because it was beaten only minutes afterwards? That is, like, legit. If I was that cube, I would just refuse to cube ever again because, like, I was the only world record holder which wasn't a legitimate world record because someone else broke it the same day. The reasoning, if Lucas was before Keaton, Lucas would have gotten the record regardless. It's like that, no, that doesn't make sense. Like, legit. It legit feels like a villain origin story. If there were 2 friends that cubed together, one gets a world record, a couple of minutes later, the other friend gets a faster solve, then everyone in the world starts talking about it on multiple TV shows, and you don't get an ounce of glory. Legit, it's grounds of, like, innate hatred amongst friends. Legitimately. They went balking. What the heck?
Hi. It stinks like dog farts in here. Hi.
Not really. What? Because it got too cold. A bit of the potato salad.
bit of potato salad. Why didn't you make something?
I didn't want to.
It's okay, my mum's home now. Guess who directed The Housemaid? Paul Feig.
What?
Paul Feig.
Who?
Paul Feig.
Who?
F-E-I-G.
Who was this?
Isn't it someone you know?
No.
Think it is.
I've never heard of that name ever.
Filmmaker. He's an American filmmaker. He's best known for directing films such as Bridesmaids, The Heat, Spy, Ghostbusters, Simple Favor, Last Christmas. Okay, maybe movies that I've watched. Okay, guys.
What happens when
Go to bed. Come on. Yes!
I have never seen a man be this good at what he does and have to wait this long to prove it. It took 8 years for this moment to finally come to fruition. And when it did,
Kevin wasn't here, was he?
What? That wasn't here.
Grab a Coca-Cola and enjoy the moment.
What?
She fell asleep and she must have dreamt you
Oh.
him. Okay, no, he would have told me if he was here and I wasn't.
absolute chaos broke out. Everyone was waiting for Luke Garrett to finally break his first world record. But something's off here, because Luke Garrett come to fruition. And when it did, absolute chaos broke out. Everyone was waiting for Luke Garrett to finally break his first world record. But something's off here, because Luke Garrett should not exist. He wasn't supposed to do this, because the way he plays the game is fundamentally impossible, and no one's realizing it. The Rubik's Cube world record with 2 hands has always been what defines the title of best cuber alive. Yihang Wang is considered the best in the world right now because he holds it. In fact, he's broken it 7 times in a row. But somehow, this world record in one-handed just moved Luke into a realm I don't think anyone will ever reach again. The World Cube Association has a total of 17 official events, ranging from the classic 3x3 Rubik's Cube, to the Pyraminx, to solving a 5x5 blindfold. And for the entirety of the sport's history, there has only been one way to make an accurate guess at who the true best in the world is. And it hasn't been made very public at all. In fact, it isn't even listed anywhere officially. Sum of Ranks combines a competitor's world ranking for all 17 events together for an SOR score. The lower your rankings, the lower your score, the better. And on January 11th, after 7 years, light was finally shed on the stat when Luke took first place with a score of 1389, dethroning Martin Vitale Egdahl, who had held the #1 spot since 2018. This has always been the only way to measure overall greatness in cubing, but it comes nowhere near showing just how much of an anomaly Luke truly is, because the way in which he took the spot for best cuber in the world has never been seen before, and will probably never be seen again. You see, if we actually look at the top 10 for the SOR rankings, Luke's best events are very, very different from everyone else's who ranks highly. To be #1 in the world for Sum of Ranks like Luke is, you need a strategy. This means choosing which events you're going to get extremely good at, and which ones it's okay to be just alright at. This is why most high-ranking cubers you'll see on this list are really good blind solvers, or those who main side events. Less competition in an event means more opportunity for a high ranking. What's weird about Luke is that he is the single biggest contradiction to this rule we've ever seen. As an event's level of competition rises, his rank improves. He places higher. This is the exact problem with Sum of Ranks, because some events are much harder to rank highly in than others. It tells you how good someone is at everything, but it doesn't tell you how hard that greatness was to achieve. To truly understand Luke Garrett's dominance, we have to look at a stat I like to call WPS, or Weighted Performance Scale. Instead of treating all events the same, it factors in the weight of an event, determined by the percentage of WCA competitors who have competed in it. For example, 96% of cubers have competed in 3x3, whilst only 0.4% have competed in 5x5 blindfolded, making 3x3 vastly more competitive than 5 blind. WPS takes that weight and divides it by the competitor's world ranking in an event. Add up all 17 events, and we get a WPS score for any competitor that has competed in everything. Simply meeting this criteria is very difficult to begin with, but if we look at the top 10 in the world for this stat, you can start to see how being really good in highly weighted events like 3x3, 2x2, and Pyraminx can boost a competitor's score. A WPS score of 3 is elite, good enough for top 7 in the world. Ryan Pilot at 4.73 is the closest thing to Luke Garrett that currently exists, ranking top 100 in 3x3 through 6x6 while maining square 1. But above them all, widely considered to be the greatest all-rounder of all time, is Martin Vitale Egdahl with a WPS score of 6.17. He isn't just dominant in some of ranks, but good enough at the higher weighted events to land him the highest WPS score we have ever seen. But oh yeah, I forgot one. Far above everyone else, more than doubling second place's score, is Luke Garrett with a WPS score of 13.19. This is where Luke completely breaks the system with a world rank of 7 in 3x3, the highest weighted event, 16 in 2x2, the second highest weighted, and of course, his one-handed world record that was faster than his two-handed average done just hours prior. He achieved the single highest WPS score we have ever seen. No one even comes remotely close. The number one in the world for some of ranks has never matched this level of performance in highly weighted events because it was never even seen as remotely feasible. This specific skill set has never been seen to any extent at the top of the rankings. Why choose to master the hardest, most stacked events when it's easier, though still incredibly difficult, to dominate the ones with less competition? Leading up to this moment, Luke's best event was always the most competitive one. It's the main event, the Rubik's Cube, the one that the most amount of people care about. I mean, 96% of everyone who's ever competed, to be exact. Every single cuber's skill level is highly measured by their 3x3 result. It might even outweigh the others more than WPS gives it credit for. And it's exactly why all-rounders are often overlooked. They thrive in niche events, but Luke thrives in the most popular ones. But is it possible to be too good at everything? For the longest time, that seemed like Luke's curse, that he would never reach his full potential in any single event, because the better you get at one event, the worse you get at others, and Luke excelled at everything. But somehow, in the midst of becoming the best all-rounder in the world, he also became the world record holder in a top 5 weighted event. By both statistics and weighting of events, Luke is undoubtedly the best cuber alive right now. Yi Hangwang's dominance is what everyone's talking about, and it is absolutely unheard of. But that's just in 3x3 and 2x2. Luke's absurdly high rankings in every event simply outweighs that, at least in my opinion. And if you were to tell me that this year Luke becomes world champion in all 3 of his best events, arguably also the most 3 popular events in all of cubing, I would believe you. The truth is, Luke's skill set is so absurdly rare that most people don't even know how to process it. We constantly celebrate the best cubers in each event, and Luke finally has that recognition in one-handed. But when asking the question of who should be given the title of best cuber in the world, at least by the WCA standards, it has been Luke Garrett for a very long time. He is possibly the greatest all-around speed cuber we have ever seen, but when you're the best in the world but don't fit into a single category, you become an outlier. An outlier so unprecedented that you might just be impossible to rank. But it's not impossible to click the white button right under the video.
This was the kid who did it blind in South
Get
Australia.
it done,
Right?
it takes a little Westpac.
Happened last year, didn't it?
What happens when your world record is so unbreakable, you have to start paying your competition to try and beat it? Because 30-time Rubik's Cube world record holder Stanley Chappell got so tired of winning, he did exactly that.
Being Stanley Chappell is an unfair advantage.
To the point where he didn't just put up a bounty for anyone who could break his world record. He knew that would be impossible. Instead, he offered to pay anyone who could even come within 8 whole seconds of him. And nearly 3 years later, no one has come remotely close. You see, just 3,000 people on Earth have even attempted the category Stanley's dominated for the better part of a decade. So the only way to comprehend his skill level is to understand the, in comparison, simple nature of solving a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. It's a much more inclusive category than the one Stanley specializes in, with around 11,000 people worldwide who have verifiably solved the cube blindfolded. It's still the definition of a top 1% skill, but to break the world record, you have to excel far, far beyond that surface level top 1%. This is where you'll find names like Charlie Eggins and Stanley Chappell, solvers who have memorized hundreds of algorithms and learned finger tricks specialized for the event. But the Rubik's Cube blindfolded world record holder isn't Stanley Chappell. So how is there this big of a gap between him and everyone else? Well, that's where it gets interesting, because surprisingly, of the 11,000 solvers on the planet, he ranks right about here. Don't get me wrong, 7th in the world isn't bad, it's just not what Stanley's known for, because his skill set is a little bit different. The 3x3 blindfolded world record should represent the highest form of mastery, but it doesn't. Until we double the amount of pieces. With 171 septillion times more possible combinations than the standard cube, 4x4 blindfolded is the pinnacle of Rubik's Cube world records. So much so that 20 years after the category was first introduced, it reached a moment when it officially became the only truly unbreakable world record. Not because of its absurd technical difficulty, but because of one man who rose to the top of the world rankings with a dream. A dream of a solve that wouldn't just be a world record, but that would kill the category entirely. His name was Stanley Chappell.
Kind of had this mental image of a solve that would just kill the event.
Just one problem. 4x4 blindfolded had already reached its human limit. China's Kai Junlin had already mastered it. Because 4 years after his legendary 1 minute and 26 second world record, nobody had even come within 10 seconds of it. Of all the sub 130s ever done in competition, he held 9 of them. All 9 of them, easily making him the best in the world at the time. And it wasn't close. But that's if Stanley Chappell didn't exist. Kaijun was dominant. Stanley was the Grim Reaper of 4x4 blindfolded. Because he didn't care about simply being the best in the world. He wanted to push the category so far that his world record would never be broken again. And that's exactly what he did. Stanley didn't just break the world record in 2019. He broke it 6 straight times like it was absolutely nothing. Because little did we know, this 16-second lead over second place was nothing. Considering the groundbreaking technique he had just learned, the entire concept of a human limit was about to be completely shattered. Stanley had found the key to ending 4x4 blindfolded. Over the course of 7 months, he focused all of his energy on becoming the only person in history to learn the technique of one-pass memorization. And as speculated, it turned out to be completely broken. You see, every world record holder before Stanley would take an initial look at the cube and memorize a string of letters that told them where each piece needed to go for it to be solved. The problem is, a 4x4 cube has so many pieces that you can't just memorize this string in one go. It's simply way too much information for the brain to handle. This is why top-level solvers have to review it to make memorization remotely possible, meaning you must account for every piece twice to have a solved cube. What Stanley did is he had somehow developed a strong enough working memory that he didn't have to review his memorization at all. He could simply identify the string of 50 or so letters needed to solve the cube and immediately start doing so. His memorization speeds didn't seem physically possible because they weren't physically possible. One passing was the only way to get to his level, and fortunately for him, it was nearly impossible to learn. But it was also by far the riskiest technique in the entire event, and Stanley's solve success rate plummeted because of it. The hesitation when memorizing so much information so quickly caused tons of near misses on world record pace. The trade-off was that every time he did solve the cube, it was almost guaranteed to be some kind of record. One thing was clear. One passing was the definition of all or nothing, and it had quite literally allowed Stanley to become the human limit. But for some reason, he still wasn't satisfied. He wanted a world record that would kill the event as a whole, and despite this absurd gap, that still hadn't happened yet. And mentally, it was about to get a whole lot harder. Competing just 3 times over the next 2 years, this absurd level of perfection was starting to take a toll on him.
I just got demotivated for months and just kind of quit cubing for a while.
This lead couldn't be sustainable, and even if it was, any form of tangible improvement would be a miracle. He was already so dominant that by the time 2021 came to an end, he held every single one of the top 20 solves ever done in competition. And one of them, in the very last round of the year, one of just 2 successful attempts in 365 days, would be the exact moment he had dreamed of. A 22-second memorization, the fastest ever. He knows what kind of a pace he's on. The only question was whether or not this would be the solve that finally did it. That would finally give him an unbreakable world record. $57.87.
I had ads. But I don't want to pay for premium, but
I wanna move, and I wanna shake, and now it's all good if I break. Cause even in parts I still got this grin, cause now I shake in the recycling bin. You thought I'd be down, but I'm up instead, though I got no arm and she's lost some hair. But the beat in here has your feet tapping. What's the sound of one hand? Got me going like I wanna move, and I wanna shake.
Head in store for toy recycling, even the toys feel good about.
We need to find a snake for a snake movie. Only in cinemas.
It's okay, you're safe. Nope.
The comedy adventure.
Sold to the young couple in the front.
A discounted.
This wasn't just the world's first sub 1. It put Stanley 20 full seconds ahead of second place. To give you any idea of how wild that is, the battle for second in the world at the time came down to 0.8 of a second. By all means, this world record was already unbreakable. This solve was already the dream come to life. But did it actually kill the event? Surely, at some point, someone else would also reach sub 1, right? Because no matter how perfect this solve was, there had to be something beyond perfection. 57 was a case of everything going right, a masterclass in memorization and execution. The only time save left was luck. This solve was so perfect that by the end of the next year, he had barely even come within 10 seconds of it. And with not one success in his first competition of 2023, it had been 14 straight months without any world record improvement. Was all the sacrifice even worth it? Years of perfecting the meta, driving all over the country for just 3 attempts per competition is the price of chasing a dream like Stanley's. So when you are given the attempts to do so, you have no choice but to capitalize. And he wasn't. 6 attempts in a row with 0 successes. 2 weeks before one of the biggest opportunities of his career, a competition in Madison, Wisconsin, with the most rounds of 4x4 blindfolded Stanley had ever competed in. 9 attempts in 2 days. Something about it was just different. This is like going to 3 competitions at once. It wasn't just about more chances, it was about the removal of pressure. He began round 1 with a 121, a DNF, and a 104, already surpassing his fastest solve in the previous year. But his 3 solves in round 2 were a 117, a DNF, and a solve that would go on to change the course of the 4x4 blindfolded world record forever.
When I started to surface as a top solver in this event in early 2018, kind of had this mental image of a solve that would just kill the event, where you get decently lucky, good memo, no pauses, decent turning, and I was imagining that would happen with a time around 115 to 120. The solve had 19 memo, so it was already crazy pace. But centers are where things get interesting. I very nearly dropped the cube on this alb. Honestly, yeah, pretty nervous during center execution, just because I knew it was a very fast solve.
$51.96. A solve ending with one of his first contributions to the 4-blind meta, a 19-move algorithm that finished the final 2 pieces, done at an unreal 7.8 turns per second, with one world record, the culmination of 7 years of dominance. Stanley Chappell just killed the event as a whole, because his 51.96 put him 28 seconds ahead of second place. In an event decided by fractions of a second, Stanley Chappell was 50% faster than the next best person. And nearly 3 years later, he is still the only man on the planet to ever break the sub 1 barrier, something he's done 13 separate times. Holding 90 of the top 100 solves ever done in competition, it's hard to imagine 51.96 ever being broken by anyone not named Stanley Chappell, the most dominant competitor in any event in cubing history. What Stanley would want you to do is to take this as a challenge. In 2018, nobody thought 115 was even possible, but as he systematically destroyed human limit after human limit, Stanley proved that the limits themselves are are simply a creation of the
Alright, I'll watch one more video, restart the stream because it's been nearly 2.5 hours.
This spring
Then
Millie,
do
you
time.
okay?
comes a horror
Millie?
that can't be unseen.
Hey there, I'm Matt Wood, and I just learned about this cool new sport of cup stacking with speed stacks. So today we're here at the ESPN X Games skate park
Matt
to
Wood
learn
is
how to
such
stack.
a
Now I'm
simple
new at this
man.
too, so don't worry, I'll be learning right along with you. Well, we have a ton of information to cover, so let's get to it. Let's go meet our trainer, Jenny Vieira.
Jenny is 16 years old and a junior in high school. She plays basketball and has been cup stacking for 3 years. Jenny is not only on the Speed Stacks demo team, but she's also on the fastest cup stacking team in the world with current world champ Emily Fox.
Hey, Jenny.
Hi, Matt. It's great to be here. We have tons of fun and excitement in store for everyone today. So, are you ready to get started?
Are you kidding me? I was born ready. But before you break it down for us and show us how to stack, why don't you show us some of your best stuff?
Sure, Matt.
Wow, that was awesome. But you don't expect me or the folks at home to be able to do that quite yet, do you?
Well, yeah. Anybody can stack. Doesn't matter what your age or your athletic abilities are. Speed stacks are all about using both sides of your brain and body, improving eye-hand coordination, ambidexterity, plus speed and
Eye-hand, it's hand-eye.
Wow, so that makes sense. And even when I'm playing basketball and volleyball, or even these skaters back here, they use both sides of their body, both hands, and I'm sure that helps out with hand-to-eye coordination.
It sure does.
Where do we start?
Well, there's 3 things you want to remember. Start slow, always think about what you're doing, and use both of your hands.
So, is there anything else we need to know, or?
Well, I started with my right hand because I'm right-handed. So most right-handers like to lead with their right hand.
That makes sense, and I bet you most lefties lead with their left hand.
Exactly. Now, since you at home are facing us, we want you to pretend that you're looking into a mirror. We're gonna act as though this is our right hand and this is our left hand. And so as most of you are right-handed, almost all of my instructions will be done with my right hand.
So lefties, you know what that means. Do what you normally have to do and reverse everything that she says.
And right-handed or left-handed, don't worry. You'll catch on quickly.
I sure hope so. So how do we start out?
Look at all those sets in the background, bro. They don't even do half those colors anymore.
As long as it's a flat surface. And if you have a stack mat, use that. The 3 basic stacks are the 3 stack, the 6 stack, and the 10 stack. These stacks, used in combination, make up various patterns in the sport of cup stacking.
And remember, use both hands, your right and your left.
Good. Now let's do the 3 stack. There are 3 ways to stack up the 3 stack. The first way, the way most right-handers stack, is leading with their right hand to up stack and leading with their right hand to down stack. And notice how your cups are going in a circle as you're stacking.
Like this. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Now, the second way, the way most left-handers stack, is leading with their left hand to up stack and leading with their left hand to down stack. And notice the same circle is occurring.
He gives a fuck about the circle,
Now, the third
bro.
way, the way some people stack, is leading with one hand to up stack and reversing that, leading with the other hand to down stack.
Okay, so I have 3 options available to me.
Yes, you do. You just want to choose one of the 3 ways that works best for you.
So Jenny, do you have any tips for the folks that might be learning for the first time at home?
Of course. You want to hold the speed stack loose with a nice, light, soft touch. And you want to let the cups just slide down. You never want to slam them like this. Your cups don't go any faster and more fumbles occur that way. And you want to hold the cups on the side. You never want to hold them on the top.
I know, because if you hold them on the tops, then your hand's in the way.
That's right. And remember, nice, light, soft touch, hands on the sides, and slide, don't slam. Now we're ready for the 3-3 stack. But the first thing we want to do is decide which side we're going to start on. Now most right-handers will start on the left side and work from left to right.
So that means most lefties are going to start on the right and work from right to left, right? I mean, correct?
Correct. Now, whichever side you decide to start on, you must always go back to that same side to begin your down stacking.
Okay.
And since we're right-handed, we're going to start on the left side and work from left to right.
Okay, that makes sense.
So let's up stack our first 3, up stack our second 3, go back to the beginning, down stack, down stack. Let's try it one more time.
Okay.
Up stack our first 3,
Up stack.
up stack our second 3.
Okay.
We're going to go back to the beginning, down stack, down stack.
All right, so the same tips kind of apply here too.
Right. You want to use both of your hands.
And a light, soft touch.
Keep your hands on the sides of the cups.
And then slide them, don't slam them. Okay, so can I do this?
Athlete's foot on your mind? Itching, burning, cracking. Try Lamisil once. Treat and help prevent athlete's foot with just one application. Get feet off your mind with Lamisil.
At Baby Bunting, our unboxing day sale just got bigger. Save up to $300 on selected maxi coats.
No, you can't. The rule is you can only handle one stack at a time. And you must always go back to where you started to begin your down stacking.
Makes sense.
Now we're ready for our first competition stack, the 3-3-3.
Sounds a bit more challenging.
Not really, it's actually pretty easy. So let's up stack our first stack, up stack our middle stack, up stack our last stack. Now where
Also,
do we
the
go?
fact that
Back
she
to
was
the beginning. Down.
she's 16 breaks my brain, because back when I was a child, I thought she was in her early 20s. And since this came out 2003, and she was 16 in 2003 supposedly, I don't know. So she would be 39 this year. If she's still alive. 39. If she was 16, 20 odd years ago. That's insane to think about.
Stack, down stack, down stack. Let's do it again.
Okay.
Up stack, up stack, up stack. Where do we go?
Back to the beginning.
Down stack, down stack, down stack. Think you got it?
Yeah, I think so.
So how about we race then?
You're on. But since I am a beginner and all the folks at home are just learning, how about you go twice to our once?
Okay, sounds fair to me.
Okay.
Now when we race, we place our hands on the 2 yellow touch pads of our stack mat. The stack mat is the official timing device for the sport of cup stacking. Now, for you at home, if you don't have a stack mat, pretend
I really
you
want that
place your hands
turquoise
right
one.
here
That
behind
turquoise
the
one
center
looks
stack.
sexy.
Now, when I say go, stack as fast as you can, but when you're done, don't forget to place your hands right back here on the touch pads.
Okay.
Ready?
Wait. Okay.
Now are you ready?
Thing is, he would be in his
Get
early
set.
20s.
Go. Keep going, finish it off.
Darn it.
Hit the touch pads.
Okay.
Weren't very good there, were you?
Not so much. How'd you guys do? Hopefully a little better than me. Did you stack up? Well, if not, don't worry about it, because we'll give you another chance to race later on in the session and get our revenge.
Now that we've mastered our 3-stack, let's move on to the 6-stack. And here's what it looks like.
It's my favorite one of all time. Like, it's just my favorite one.
Now I'm going to break it down for you and for the folks at home to learn. First, we're going to start with 2 sets of 3.
I want to...
We're going to... Fumbles. The most important thing to remember is always fix your fumbles when they happen and never give up.
Never.
Now, there are 3 common types of fumbles. The first fumble is when your top cup tips over or falls onto the surface of your stacking.
Yeah,
That's called a tipper.
Oh, a tipper, okay. I was gonna say, I've mastered that one.
The second type of fumble is when a cup slides onto another cup. That's called a slider.
Makes sense, I'm sure I've done that.
And the last type of fumble is in the down stacking phase, when all of your cups are down stacked and the entire stack falls or topples over. That's called a toppler.
I would never okay, usually when I knock it over, it goes straight off the table, so.
Well, that's okay, but the most important things to remember is always fix your fumbles right when they happen. The rule is your previous stack must be standing before you can move on. Now, for example, say you're stacking a 3-6-3. You upstack your first 3, and as you're upstacking your 6, a slider occurs on your 3-stack. Now you have to take down your last stack, fix that slider, and then you can move on.
I find that to be bullshit.
Now once all of your cups are standing, and now you're in the down stacking phase, if you accidentally knock over the cups, you don't have to go back and fix them. You can just continue your down stacking.
Okay.
That, I don't know if that's true.
All of your cups must be down stacked by the time you're done.
Okay, so I gotta ask, how do we get as good as you?
Well, first you want to practice on your own to improve your speed stacking skills. And then you can move on to more challenging races.
You can actually learn more about those races right here on this DVD. So now seems like a pretty good spot to take a break and maybe get in some practice.
Get in some practice. It's so weird to me that, like, the fact I'm better than half of these people is... I really want to see what she does, if she does the tap or not. Because they made that not a thing anymore.
Braid them and set them back on top.
All right.
Now this time we're going to pick up 5 cups with our right hand and 4 cups with our left hand.
Gotcha.
This is called...
I do wonder how they learnt how to do it. I mean, probably fucking the creators of them, but like, still, I still find it so fascinating.
Official partner of the Australian Open.
Humans, this year is all about growth. Plus,
I'm setting myself up for success by...
Yes, we've all heard about your high growth super.
Awaken your super with Australian Retirement Trust.
Packages to chill.
Bring the breeze with the Shark Flex Breeze Hydro-Go. Packed with...
called the 5-4-1 method. Once again, just like the 6-stack, we'll be alternating our hands, starting with the hand that has the most cups.
So it's just like the 3-2-1 method except taller.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we're gonna start with our right, left, right, center. Now this is important because now what do we have? A 3-2-1. And we can place cups on both sides.
Okay.
So we're gonna start right, left, right, right. And that's the up stack of the 10 stack. Let's practice that again.
Okay.
Take 5 cups in one hand, 4 in the other.
Part of me really wants to get that
Alternating our hands.
map, but I haven't seen
Right,
it ever.
Left, right, center, right, left, right, right.
It's like the Leaning Tower of speed stacks.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay,
But
that was bad.
now we're ready for the down stack of the 1-10-1.
Okay.
First, we're gonna turn our hands the same way we set them down.
Okay.
We're gonna tap the opposite sides of the cups.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna use these 2
Yeah,
cups. one
that
in each
tapping
hand,
thing is fucking ridiculous.
to down stack the 10.
Okay.
The cup in our right hand is gonna slide this way, taking the top level. And the cup in our left hand is gonna slide this way, taking the second. We need to up stack our 10.
Right. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Go, 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 go. Nice.
Now the first tip is, when we grab our cups, we only have to tap the opposite edges of the cups, not the opposite sides.
Oh, I bet you that's a lot faster.
It is a lot faster.
Okay.
The second tip is, our right hand is going to drag the cups down where our left hand only knocks them down. Notice how I have only 1 cup left in my left hand. Now, the last tip is, as we down stack, we form an X. The first leg we just did. Now the
No one calls it an X. You just fucking do it. Good game, buddy. Oh. Oh, I thought they were fucking doing the cycle. So a kid getting 10 seconds in their first day? I haven't gotten a 10 seconds in my entire time doing it. Bro, I want that turquoise one so badly. That turquoise one with a... That looks so good. I don't know why they don't do a lot of colours anymore. So technically you don't need a lot of fucking colours. We'll be right back. Let's restart the VOD.